Down. All right. And that's our voices.
Our voices are live now.
Think we're live.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Dane, what a fun thing to do where it's just you and me hanging out.
We're just hanging out.
I can hear echo, Tim, just so you know. You might turn your volume down.
No, that's all right. He's just working out the kinks.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of fun to do a live show once in a while when it's just the podcast. I get
just the two of us.
Some people like the podcast being like an isolated thing. And we're totally going to continue to do that. It's just today it's
literally just the two of us.
A little slow. Everybody's off somewhere. So it's just us in the building today.
Well, and it was Dane came to me and goes, you want to go do the podcast? I was like, we can wait till everybody gets here. And he's like, or we can just go live. And I was like, yeah, I'm cool with that.
It's true.
Let's do that.
Because Morgan won't be here for another hour or two. She's got school, guys. She's got stuff she's got to do.
She's a college student.
And Anthony is not even in the country right now.
No, he's on his honeymoon, eating pretzels and drinking beer.
He's having
and wearing short shorts.
Pretty rough time. Oh, I didn't catch the short shorts. He had short shorts.
You didn't see that? He sent us a picture of himself in short shorts.
I mean, I wasn't really looking, but
they call them lederhosen.
Oh, we're talking lederhosen. Yeah, I'm familiar with lederhosen.
They were very short. They were very short. So he had those long socks, eating pretzels, gummies, Haribo gummies.
Oh, Haribo. Yeah.
His favorite. He's he's looking at castles.
Everybody,
eating pretzels and beer and gummies. That's what he's doing.
It's Oktoberfest, guys.
So
what are you gonna do?
It's a little all-day Anthony action right there. So we've already got some comments coming in. Says, oh boy, this is going to be an odd one from Yoshi.
You're not wrong, Yoshi.
All-day Anthony popping in to say, really looking forward to today's stream. Then he says, the rectangle comes in with swooped. And then all-day Anthony says, two days. I think he's having a stroke. Rectangle says, is that the YouTube famous all-day Anthony? It is, guys. It's nice of him to grace us.
Right.
G. Davis, God bless you guys. You got me out of taking my son to the pediatrician. He'll take an Uber there and back. Oh. So great. So great. G. Davis always.
G. Davis never fails
with
to
the
bring
zings.
the funny.
And Adam Thurmond always wondered if you'd ever broadcast a main show.
You know, it was bound to happen at some point. We have done it before. I'm not going to say it's never happened before, but they're very rare. So it's kind of an experiment. Yeah. But, G. Davis, I got a picture from Anthony at the Falco Museum.
Hashtag der Kommissar.
Oh, man. Never fails.
What'd you do this weekend?
That was the thing was I wanted to open it up live because I really didn't do a lot.
Really?
I binge
it was
watched
cold.
Some shows.
It
got colder.
It was really cold this weekend.
I changed
I had
the
to turn
oil
on my furnace
in the sport track.
Oh, nice. Did you do that yourself? Now that you have a
I
truck,
was
you got
lazy.
your own
I was just like,
oil pan, like a little catch can, and climbed under there.
They'd already been to
had
Einstein's,
Callie climb all over you.
Had, so I was like, I'll just go there. They know the vehicle already. So I went in, and apparently it gave me an opportunity to have somebody inspect it underneath, because that truck I bought because it was cheap, not because I had it inspected and all that other stuff like the other cars. So that one,
they're like, it has no fluids in it at all. It's weird.
Like, I don't know how
Can't
it
believe
got
you're
here.
still driving it.
So that was kind of just reassuring to hear that, oh no, the truck's actually pretty good condition. So
and they've got a service history they could look at
for
too,
how cheap it was. The only thing I did notice was this is just me being dumb. I totally overlooked the fact that I probably should have checked to see if it could shift into 4 low, 4 high. Before I bought it. It's not doing that right now, but I looked online and there's some different possibilities.
Could be a fuse.
As to what it could be.
Is there fluid in the transfer case?
They said the transfer case was fine, so it's probably a fuse. Okay. Probably. Yeah. If it's not that,
because it's that shift on the fly.
Yeah, it's one of those electronically controlled 4-wheel drive systems, but it's standard issue stuff. I had one when I had the Blazer back in the day, but this one is a
It'd be great if you totally had no 4-wheel drive and you were in the snow the first time and you're like, oh.
I literally bought that
truck's horrible
for
to drive.
Winter, so I wouldn't be driving the Jag on questionable
Then you just
roads.
have 2 rear-wheel drive vehicles.
Yeah,
3. Excuse me, maybe. Yeah, you have to drive.
Good thing you didn't sell the snowplow.
Good thing you didn't sell the Volvo. You can drive that.
I had a guy come and look at it the other day, though. Unfortunately, he was actually looking for his wife, and he was fine with the price.
He couldn't find her? He thought she was at your house?
No. This guy was really interesting. He was actually from Oregon, and he was familiar with the rag company after I mentioned where I worked. Oh. Because he saw the sticker, and he was curious. Turns out he was the father of, remember County Line? Father of the guy who ran County Line Brewing.
Oh, the brewing that used to be next door to the old rag company building.
Yeah. So I had no idea this guy, but he's like, I feel like we've met before. And I was like, you look familiar, but I couldn't quite place it.
And he was there looking for your wife and then saw that the Volvo was for sale.
His wife has an XC60 right now. And she likes it fine, but they're just looking for something different.
Okay.
So they like Volvos a lot. He pulled up in a Volvo C30, so I knew he was already an aficionado.
Yeah.
He had no problem with the price. He actually told me, he goes, honestly, in the right market, you could get 10 for this. And I was like,
don't tell Dane that.
So he told me that, and I was like, well, I'm just, I wanted to go to the right person, but I'm not looking for the first person to come and give me $3,000 to walk away with. That's just no.
Yeah.
The manual makes it special. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
It's just unusual.
Well, there you go.
We talked about that. We actually talked for probably 45 minutes.
Nice.
Even though he didn't. He told me within the first 10 or 15 minutes, he goes, yeah, I'm looking around it. He's like, it's going to be a no for me. He goes, but it's not because of the car. He goes, I just kind of came out here on a whim. I just wanted to look at the car, really. And I was just like, it happens sometimes. I get it. And I told him, I'm not upset.
Question. Could you raise it up?
Oh, the suspension?
Volvo? Just to make it more appealing for sale?
I could, yeah.
Why don't you do that?
I feel like the right person's going to come along.
But what if, I know, but in car sales, it's just like a house.
Oh, no.
Do you want to have red painted walls in the house, or do you just want to paint them gray?
Yeah.
And let somebody do their own thing.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think if it's too low, people that would buy it to enjoy it and drive it as a safe wagon, perhaps their spouses are going like, oh, it's way too low. Why? I'm not going to drive a lowered car. That's not me.
Yeah.
But if it was like stock height, but still had coilovers, so it could still be adjustable and you could still do stuff, then people are like, oh, we'll buy it because that is a cool car. And I have the option to lower it if I want to. You know what I mean?
It's a fair
I'm just
point.
thinking like
it's a fair point from a car sales
and it would also make it
perspective.
more comfortable to ride.
Oh, no question, it would be more
Because
comfortable.
I think that would help
more travel.
I think that would help sell it because he's probably looking at it going like, I have to lift it back up.
I've got
My
a
wife
kid,
won't drive it.
I've got a kid dying to buy this thing right now.
Right,
but he's got to sell his car first. It's always that case. But basically, he likes it exactly the way it is. And I've had a number of people message me saying I like the car because it's this way. Yeah. But it is a niche audience.
Yeah.
I fully
I'm just saying you probably open it up more if you raised it up just a touch.
But at this point in time, I'm not feeling that burn. Like I gotta get rid of it. I gotta clear out space. Like that's gonna happen, but I'm not to that point yet.
Okay. All right.
But eventually, you know. I still have like 25 messages on the Miata though. People just pile on. But the problem is a good third of them are all looking to trade for something, and I'm like, I don't want whatever car you're trying to trade for it because it's just going to be harder to sell.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Like the Miata should be fairly easy to
sell.
The
Miata's the Miata. There's especially no need to change anything.
The price I got for it now, like a lot of people are asking questions, but nobody's actually shown up yet.
Okay.
So that's kind of frustrating. Yeah. But that's the way it goes. I mean, guys, you've sold used cars before. Surely you've had some interesting experiences. If you have, share them in the comments. Tell us about it.
So Adam Thurmond says, Dane, you've inspired me to snag a Sony G7X Mark II. I'm excited to save up and purchase that to start creating some marketing content.
It is a very simple to use camera. He saw when I was using it when we were getting the wash done. He was washing the Jag on the way home from Texas. And he was like, what camera is that? And he started asking. And I told him, the Mark II is kind of the sweet spot. It's a little lower price than the newer Mark III, but the Mark III right now is plagued by some focus issues. So the problem is
I prefer to call them gremlins or demons.
They are
part
glitches,
of
bugs, something.
No, I'm going to chalk it up to some sort of mythical creature.
Canon needs to give it a firmware update that corrects the focusing problem that it's currently having. So if they do that, it will be an excellent camera because it's effectively a Mark II, but with 4K capability. That's a really good thing. But, yeah. Oh, look, Anthony's weighing in.
So, Dan Pfeiffer, word up from Minneapolis, guys. Happy Monday. CJ Byrne, 27. Thanks again. Levi, my mother's car turned out fantastic. It finished down almost perfectly and was done polishing the car in just under 2 hours. Nice. Last cut is an awesome polish.
Yes, it is.
Adam Thurmond, being new to filmmaking and stuffs, what kind of mic should I use when using my camera for vlogging materials? Some sort of on-body mic?
Now here, okay, this is where the Mark III kicks the Mark II's butt. Mark II only allows you to use the mic that's on the camera. Oh. Frankly, that's the limitation of it. Mark III, they address this. They give it a mic input.
Oh, nice. So then you can add a mic.
But the Mark III is not quite twice the price of the Mark II, but it's a significant chunk more. And it has that focusing issue. When they do the firmware update and it fixes the focusing thing, assuming they do that, the Mark III will be vastly better than the 2. But right now, as it stands, the Mark II is still where it's at. And the audio, honestly, I have really good audio from that Mark II. I was impressed. Like a lot of the other guys who've used it. I know Matt Moorman, Obsessed Garage, used one. I know Freddie Tavares used one. You can get a lot out of it, even with the stock microphone that's built into it. And it is sensitive. It'll change direction or, wind compensate for all that kind of stuff. But it's still not going to be as good as a directional mic if you know what you're doing with a directional mic. The problem is a Mark II doesn't allow you to do that. Yeah. So trade-offs. Right. You just got to consider what you want for your money.
Lars, hey guys, best regards from Germany. What's up, Lars?
Hey.
Adam says hi, Lars, and a little flag or exclamation point. G. Davis, that guy who looked at the Volvo is the IROC woman's ex. Dun, dun, dun. He was looking for his wife, Dane. And he was wondering why she was at your house, but then he saw you had a Volvo, so he thought
based on the ages, it seems more like she could be his daughter. So
you never know.
Sure. Well,
you never know.
Some people.
All Day Anthony says he found what looks to be a Chilton manual for a V50R design here in Europe. The only problem is that it's in some sort of weird European moose language. It's a bummer.
Well,
bummer. Adam Thurmond, it's good to know you get an audio without a secondary mic. So, yeah, that's so like my little DJI.
That's a valid concern.
Yeah, my little Osmo Pocket has a onboard mic that actually is all right, but it doesn't have the option to put in an external mic.
Right.
Which is kind of a bummer.
So it's same boat.
Yeah, but it's got a good little mic on it that works, especially when you're doing vlogging or something like that, which I have been dragging my heels. I really need to start doing
it's
stuff. It's
hard, guys.
Like
if you've never done it before and you just tell yourself, like, oh, I see all these other people doing vlogging. It can't be that hard. Well, yeah, if you're in the swing of things and you're doing it, it becomes easier, but it's awkward as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to do that and just like standing in a crowd of people and holding a camera in your face and you're like, I feel like a total D-bag. Just like, oh, look at me. It's such a narcissistic thing, but there is some quality to it if you're providing content that actually helps people with a car purchasing decision or detailing or something in the future. Okay, that's good, but for a lot of people, vlogging is literally just like, look how cool I am.
Yeah.
Follow me through my day because my day is vastly better than yours. And that's what a lot of vlogging out there is. And it's just kind of... Yeah, so I get the stigma. And other people, until you produce the final result, people just assume that's what you're doing.
Yeah. No, and that's... Like I said, I thought, I'll buy a camera, I'll get on it, I'll really start pushing it. And I bought my camera so that I could be a one-man show in my garage if I needed to. And Adam Huber's on. Hey, buddy. So yeah, it was one of those where all of a sudden I got it and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I carry it with me everywhere I go.
You're like, I'm ready at a moment's
haven't
notice.
Literally busted it out to even, I need to work. I just need to actually, I thought about it this weekend that I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
And I didn't. And so I'm hoping next weekend, maybe I will. I'll make it like, that's what I'm going to do. I'll make a video.
It doesn't happen unless you make it happen. That's the thing. Nobody's going to tell you to do it.
Yeah.
You just have to do it for yourself.
So, yeah, it is weird to think about. So, Dan Pfeiffer, will TRC be a color lock retailer? Enjoyed the recent video.
Oh.
Dan, we are working on it with the boys at Color Lock. We really like their products, and we're just figuring out what we need to do. So,
I'm
sure by the beginning of the new year, we will definitely have product.
That's kind of an inside baseball thing, but I was actually impressed at the number of people who watched it when they released it in the middle of the day on a Saturday.
Yeah, impressive. When I pulled it up last night, I couldn't believe how high it was. I was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
So, pretty awesome. G. Davis.
I think it helped that it was leather interior cleaning, something we haven't really done a lot of.
Yeah,
so different.
Yep. So, G. Davis, the Levi, the 20-minute polish will be my go-to technique from now on. I have 4 details scheduled before I head to Florida next month for a week of playing old guy baseball.
All about that old guy baseball.
Good work, G. That's awesome. I used a new product I can't talk about, but I used a new product this week because of my recent 20-minute video. Someone asked me about an all-in-one. Why wouldn't I use an all-in-one in that same 20-minute process?
We haven't touched all-in-ones in a long time.
No, and so here's my thing. So the all-in-one polishes traditionally get very sticky, have a very hard time wiping off the surface of the vehicle, and actually don't provide that much protection.
Right.
So
it's mostly just they have enough protection to say they offer protection.
Right. And I've always it takes a long time to get the compound off. You end up having to put protection on again because sometimes it just... And so I always felt that was always the reason why I decided if I can do 20 minutes with a proper pad and a pad-dependent cutting polish, that I could really create a true all-in-one if I could follow it up with a quick wipe-down step.
You just maximize efficiency on those other steps.
That's really all I'm trying to do because most all-in-ones, yes, you could go around a car with a polish with that product, but it may take you 30 minutes to wipe all the product off because it's so thick.
Yeah.
You also run into the risk of marring the surface because you're trying to wipe. Some of that stuff is so sticky traditionally. Yeah. Very, very sticky. There is a product that is going to be debuted at SEMA. I used it this weekend. I'm kind of in love with it. And guys, I've used a lot of all-in-ones just because it makes sense. Like especially, for us to be able to do something like that for a customer, the problem I have is that not all-in-ones can provide enough cut either.
Yeah, that is a problem.
They're more of just a glossifier. As I refer to it. And this product actually provided some pretty good cut, which was nice. I'm still a big fan of my current system with an orange foam last cut around
usually
the car.
last cut. You like Oberk too. Like
I do like Oberk,
like
but Oberk is a 2-part system, and
Right.
I haven't spent enough time with Oberk polish on an orange pad just to see. But I like last cut and orange because I can get a lot done with that.
And then you just followed up with a protective product.
Yeah, you just any protective. You could do OptiSeal, you could do bead maker. It's simple, easy, quick setup. So Adam Huber's here, as we said, and he's in the chat. So Adam Thurmond says Huber's in the house. Congrats on snagging a booth at SEMA.
Yes.
Adam says thank you. So yeah, Adam is now part of Clarity Coat, and they got a booth.
Yeah.
About 9 booths from us down the way. So be sure when you come see us in the Performance Pavilion this year, you come see Adam and Justin in the Clarity Coat booth.
You can see what it looks like on the car.
And we will have it on the Lamborghini in our booth. So which is pretty sweet. So
it looks kind of like that, only a lot better.
Yeah, Tug, we are still working it out. So we haven't fully decided it. We're still trying to work out the issues and stuff. So it's not a done deal. It's something we've been working on for a long time, but we will definitely get there.
These things don't happen overnight.
Yeah. So Adam again says you're excited to hear the TRC will carry color lock. I'll hit ram up some product usage videos you guys have done with them are awesome. We love the color lock guys. They are some of our closest friends in the industry, and we are going to be next to each other again at SEMA this year. So like I said, we're constantly trying to figure out what is best from their line that we'll be able to work with and carry, and how we can go about selling it. So it is not finalized.
Because the stuff is really good, but sometimes you get some things that are so specific, so niche, that it doesn't make sense for us to carry them necessarily. Right. So we pick and choose the things we carry.
Well, and a lot of it is education, because you look at any company, and they got a lot of stuff on their website. And so part of it is figuring out what is something we can sell that works. And so that is what we're working on. So,
and in fairness, sometimes there will be a company whose products we carry, and we don't carry all their products. That doesn't mean the products we don't carry are bad or anything. It just means they don't fit with whatever we're trying to do with that lineup in our particular lineup. Yeah. For one thing, we try and avoid too many redundancies.
Yeah. Adam, you're in the, it says, I want to be at SEMA to hear about whatever you're talking about. Adam, you're in the inner circle. I'll just text you after this so that you'll see what I'm talking about or hear what I'm talking about.
But you're not allowed to tell
You're not allowed to tell anybody. So, but yeah, no, so I was very surprised this weekend by that. I did 2 cars this weekend, detailed them. And so, one had severe brush scratches.
Okay.
So I was able to go around it with I had a prototype pad from Lake Country that I used and, had really great results with that pad.
Nice.
And used last cut. I went around the whole vehicle with it. Finished out really well too, which was neat. And then I just switched pads, went to a Rupes yellow with last cut on the whole vehicle. It had a bunch of brush scratches all down the sides. It was a older.
How deep?
Not too bad. Most of them all came out, but it was on a Land Rover Discovery.
Okay.
Like
good
a
old disco.
late 90s disco. My buddy bought it for $1,600.
Well, you know they're cheap for a reason.
Threw a Flowmaster 40 series on it.
I mean, they do have that evolution of the old, like, 50s, 60s Buick V8 that continues to live on.
Yeah, so he likes to buy Discoveries. He loves driving them.
And then when it fails in 4 months, he goes and buys a new one.
He does. He basically can get rid of
head gaskets and stuff, man.
So he did. He bought one with a blown head gasket, found another engine in a junkyard, pulled that engine, swapped it over in the weekend, and was on his way.
See, to me, someone just needs to come up with a better engine swap. I'm sure it exists.
And he's talked about doing like an LS swap. It's the Lucas Electronics that he goes, realistically, you got to get past it. He goes, like, I told him, I go, I didn't do your motor because I don't dare put water on these. And he started laughing, and then he showed me, he's like, I cleaned it myself. And we popped the hood, and he shows me the engine. I'm like, wow, that looks really good. He's like, I know. And I had a code reader afterwards to clear out the 7 codes that it blew, that lit up. He goes, but I cleared them out. And I was like, oh, crap, we opened the hood. Oh. That means the code's going to go off because we opened it. And so we shut the hood. And I said, we're not going to talk about that. But I polished it out.
But I love those trucks, like the way they look, the way they drive.
And
like,
he threw a 40
great.
series Flowmaster on it, and it sounded so mad. It sounded so mean, but it's so sluggish that it was funny. I was like,
great sounding, but it ain't
the
fast.
sound did not work with the speed at which it went out. But he took it out. He loves going off-roading with them and stuff, and he's talking about doing a lift and some Steelies on it. He's like, I already got a guy that messaged me that has Steelies for it, and so he's gonna, but he buys them for the winter. He basically pays. He's got nice cars. He got like a brand new Tacoma Limited that I just did for him.
So he does have reliable transportation.
He does have reliable, but he's like, I just don't want to take that truck out. It's too nice.
So I'm gonna take this ratty disco instead.
So I cleaned up a Discovery that he bought for $1,600.
I mean,
and
I love
he's
that.
like, I will drive it for the winter. He goes, and then I'll sell it in the spring. He goes, it's my winter beater, and I'll sell it in the spring. I'll double my money.
Who's buying them though?
People
like,
buy them.
Just use like people who just want a cheap car, no matter what.
So
surely they know better than to buy a.
So my buddy Wayne, it's my buddy Wayne who had done a lot of his cars for him.
Yeah.
He also manages Les Schwab on Broadway.
Oh, okay. Well, he
gets people. Well, so he makes some good money, but he never buys a crazy car. He always buys under $2,000 for stuff. So here's what happens. He has customers that come in, they have him do some stuff on the car, and they usually say, oh, we're just going to go sell it. And then he just asks how much he's selling it for. And they go, I don't know. We're thinking we'll get like this much for it. And then he offers it to him. And especially if it's a car he wants.
Yeah.
And then he also, usually they're customers, so he's got access to what they've done at Les Schwab. So he can at least make sure like suspension, wheels, and tires and stuff. Pretty ideal. The best, though, is so I brought the Disco back to him. When I was walking by the bays to go inside, one of the guys yelled out, he's out back playing with his new toy. And I was like, oh. So I walk in, and his daughter's working the front counter. She's like, I don't know where he is. I said, one of the guys said he's out back. So she phoned him, paged him over the intercom. Yeah. He came out, and he's like, come see what I just got. And I was like, what? And he goes, had a lady come in. She literally was coming in to get they had it on a trailer. It had like a flat tire.
I was going to say,
she
if
wanted
a car's on a trailer, it's either really nice or really terrible.
So here's the thing. She was going to take it to the junkyard.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, but it has to roll in if they want to give me the money. Otherwise, they'll give me less.
Oh,
if it's on a trailer, they're not going to take it.
Those promotions.
So,
push, pull, or drag you, blah, 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 and we'll give you $2,000.
Yeah. So she was like, but it was either that or the scrapyard. They were going to like crush it. Okay. So basically, she goes, I need to put a tire on it so that I can drive it.
Literally roll it.
I gotta roll it in. And she goes, and they'll give me $180 for the car. So he goes,
it's a little less than $2,000.
Right. No, that's a dealership. This is like they were gonna sell it for like literally just the cost of the metal in it.
I gotta know what car is it.
Right. So he paid. So he offered her $200. He goes, well, I'll just give you $200. And she goes, okay.
That's 20
and
more
so
than
he
I was
asked her
gonna
if
get
she
for
had
all
the
the
title,
trouble.
and she goes, no, I got to go home, look for the title, but I wanted to get this done so that we can, once I get the title, I can just run it over. And he's like, well, I'll just hold on to the car, bring me the title, and I'll give you the money. And so he's out back there. He's got his guys hooking it up. They're doing a full diagnostic on it, checking it out.
I'm guessing it was a cheap fix, and this thing is perfect.
It needs some work.
Not perfect,
it needs
but
some
like
work.
this thing is
It needs a detail.
Total
it needs a detail.
Steal of a deal.
It is a steal of a deal.
Okay, what is it?
It's a PT Cruiser.
Oh man, for $200.
Convertible GT.
Yes, the basket.
The best kind. Basket with a turbo. It's basically an STR. It's an SRT4.
Okay, yeah.
With a PT Cruiser body on it.
Oh,
that's what I said. 2.4 convertible GT.
Yeah, the SRT4 neon effectively.
Yeah.
And drivetrain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intercooler, everything. It's all boosted.
I do love.
It's got leather, heated seats.
I love that time period in, American cars where, they weren't the best, but they were doing some fun stuff. Like when you talk about GM and you got those little, Turbo 4s that they had in the Solstice and the Sky and the Cobalt SS. And then Chrysler was doing that with the SRT4 and the Cruiser.
Yeah, it needs a front bumper.
Okay.
Like the bottom half of the air dam's ripped off.
Fortunately, that is an incredibly common car.
Yeah,
so
he was like, he was
plentiful.
laughing. He's like, I got it an hour ago. I've already called 5 junkyards in town that have a front bumper for it in black. He goes,
no, that car's going to be a hoot.
He goes, so I'm going to grab a bumper for it. He goes, I'll need you to detail it when I'm done getting it all. He's like, I'm going to get it, make sure all the brakes are safe and everything on it. He's like, we're going to go through them, change all the fluids. We'll get it going. He goes, and then I'll bring it to you. You detail it. He goes, and I'm just going to flip it. He goes, my goal is, he's like, I'll put $1,000 in it, and I could probably get 3 or 4 for it.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like,
and that's what he does.
In good condition, that's a $4,000 car. And I know some people are scoffing, but no, there are people out there who will buy that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and that model, that's like the best model you could get next to the 4-door GT.
Yeah.
Like with the 2.4. Those are the ones you want.
Yeah.
The leather is all in great shape except for the driver's seat. It's split.
Well,
and he's like, I'll just have one of the seat companies fix up the seat, lower half of the seat. That's like $200.
If anything, the convertibles are even faster than the 4-doors.
Right.
You lose some structural rigidity, but you lose 2 doors, you lose some weight. Yes, the convertible top mechanism weighs a little bit, but not as much as 2 doors.
Those cars
and
are
stuff
rockets
do. So
too.
yeah, no, that thing will move. Plus, there's a huge aftermarket for SRT4s, so you can do a lot with that silly little platform. That was a good buy.
Yeah, well, and that's what he does. And he was one of my best friends. He is one of my best friends, but he'd do 5 cars a month.
Yeah.
Sometimes 4 cars a month like that. He'd find them. He searched Craigslist, Facebook, Messenger, all that, or Marketplace.
Yeah.
And he'd just buy a cheap car. And then he'd usually buy most of the parts and fix it up there at Les Schwab in the weekends. He closed when the shop was closed on Sunday. He'd work on something. And he'd flip it, and that's where his money came. His toy money, so to speak, was doing stuff with cars. And that was one of the fun things to be able to have him. Was I always had a buddy that would bring me a car to detail, and he's one of those homie hookups where it was cheap enough. I didn't bother charging him like everything. I just did the car because I usually got it back in tires and stuff like that on my end, where we could trade work. So. You know, it's like, oh, I'll get this out and this done for free for you on this car. I'm like, oh, sweet, thanks. So we'd always trade that kind of thing. So it was super fun. It's always fun to see that. And I was already like, oh, I can make this thing pretty dope. Yeah. You know, this little car will be shiny. Yeah, you could make some money on this. And so.
Wait, I totally spaced. What color was it?
Black.
Oh, okay. So that's appealing.
Yeah, black with black interior. Totally simple.
To everybody but people who detail, black is an appealing color on a car. It's just, for a lot of folks, they go, oh, God, the scratches.
Well, chrome. It's got chrome wheels on it. Yeah. He was like, I'll put a cool set of wheels on it. And he's like, I'll just get 16 or 17s, I think, or what's on it, stock. He's like, I'll just get another pair of 17s.
That's bigger than I thought it would be on a car like that.
Yeah, but he was like, I'll just get a cheaper set, throw them on. He goes, once it's all detailed, I'll put the new wheels and tires on. He goes, well, I'll make this thing look cool. Yeah. I'll be able to sell it.
Somebody will buy that for 3 or 4.
And so I did that. I did his truck this weekend, played with some product. And then I had one of my customers that's been with me for almost 15 years. I kind of have a running open tab, so to speak, with her where I just come grab one of her cars and detail it for her. And so I picked up her husband's Lexus RX. And worked on it on Sunday. So never a bad detail to do because she keeps her stuff really clean. Yeah. And then she mentioned I helped her last year go get her Christmas tree out of storage. Oh, okay, they have a fake Christmas tree that they keep fully decorated.
Oh, nice.
They just wrap it in cellophane. I
don't even decorate mine.
Yeah, they wrap it in cellophane, and then I helped them transport it back and forth from their storage unit. So she reminded me that that's coming up. So, so we did that. But anyway, so that was my weekend. Pretty simple. It was just really cold here in Boise.
Yeah, no, we had a big drop.
Yeah.
Big drop.
It almost froze, which was weird.
Yeah, that was surprising. My folks were up at their cabin, so to speak, in McCall there.
Condo.
And they were showing there was snow coming down, so I was not expecting that.
Well, I went up to Bogus last weekend hiking, and it was
there snow up there?
No, it was 59 degrees and sunny. And then I saw pictures from people that went up to Bogus this weekend, and there was snow up there already.
Oh my gosh.
Like 2 inches, but just a dusting. But still,
I've still been wanting to drive the Jag up there. I just haven't done it yet.
You're running out of days.
Running out of time. It sounds like. But,
I mean, you could drive it up there in the snow. Just You might not make it back down. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
It's got a winter mode.
Yeah.
All right, let's read some comments.
Clean and shiny. If I had known there were spare seats, I could have jumped on a plane. Hey, I know, John. It's crazy.
Look how spacious.
Should have made this easier.
Funny thing is, the room's not that big. It just looks big.
Yeah. Adam. Oh. All right, here's one for you. Did a test spot on a 2017 black Nissan Maxima to quote out a correction and coding. Solvent pop airwear. How would one point that out to a customer? Okay, so you would explain it just the way it is. You would have to take a close-up, show them if they can't see it on the paint themselves, Adam, and you're just going to have to explain it to them that this is solvent pop from a respray, and there's not anything you can do about it. They would literally have to sand all that down and re-clear it or repaint that whole thing. And that's just a poor quality, fix. That's really it. You have to explain it to them. Otherwise, what'll happen is if you don't show them that and you polish it out, it'll draw more attention to it, and they're going to ask about it. And if you didn't tell them or teach them prior, then they won't know about it. So if you can show them and go, hey, this is what's up. I don't know if this car's been resprayed or this is straight from the factory, but it's not going to affect anything. It just means it's not going to be perfect. I can't create a mirror finish, so to speak, for you. Yeah. And that way they know. The key is just educate them. So,
yeah. CJ Byrne, 27. When you mention Lucas Electronics, all I hear is Ed China talking about dodgy electronics.
Yeah.
Lucas was the Prince of Darkness, as it were. Anybody in the UK knows. Lucas Electronics are questionable.
There was a joke about why the English like their beer warm, and then it was something about
Lucas makes the fridges too.
Oh yeah, because Lucas makes the fridges.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just funny. Sports Car Nut, your video continues washed out, very low contrast. You may have better camera, but the image is way off. HDR gone bad? Just check it with the standard RGB, sRGB.
I have the answer for that, Sports Car Nut. So the thing with that is, we, up to this point, have just used GoPros to basically capture a wide enough angle of the room. We could put a wide-angle lens on a nicer camera, but the reality is they would still kind of be pushing out. This room is not nearly as big as it looks on camera, so it's a little difficult to navigate the space properly.
It's almost as big as my arms.
With a camera when you have a group of people. So GoPro turned out to be the best bet for us. However, in the next iteration of our podcast office room, whatever, it's going to be a little bit different. We will have it set up with multiple cameras. It's going to be pretty nice. Like, we're looking forward to being able to set it up in a way that really, really works for us. But in the meantime, this is what we're doing. One of the reasons is the GoPro is set to a flat color profile so it doesn't add a bunch of artificial, graininess or over contrastiness. The problem is it can seem under, contrasty. So there's a balance, working out the kinks. But the reality is, most people are going to be listening to this, not necessarily watching it, because it is just two guys sitting at a desk. So a lot of it is going to be listening to it, and people are doing other things while they listen.
Yeah. Yep. G. Davis, it's a party now. Hans Closen's here because Hans says that room looks empty.
He's not wrong.
It is, buddy. And clean and shiny, right, dude? You do see a wax stock sticker.
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Hans, almost missed it. I'm laying wallpaper and new carpet and put together an IKEA closet made out of 17 boxes. Me and my projects.
Wait, so he made a closet out of boxes? Like he just cut up? Okay,
IKEA boxes.
Cool.
CJ Byrne, the coolest of weird American car creations to me was the Chrysler Turbo minivans of the mid to late 80s. Seen a couple, ran 12s at the Great Lakes Dragaway.
The K-car-based caravans stuff.
Well, yes, but some of them had Mitsubishi turbos in them.
Right, yeah.
And
that
my
whole
dad's
time
buddy had one.
Oh.
And that was the first Chrysler minivan I ever got to play in. And what he did, this is how he did it. He was able to spec out a turbo van.
Yeah.
But it was a panel van.
Oh, so it was like just a stripper panel,
but with the turbo in it.
Yeah, so basically
then
the
what
lightest
he did,
possible.
Yeah, but then what he did was actually put carpet. He bought the whole interior kit.
Oh, okay.
And had a custom conversion company put the seats and the carpet kits in.
So it wasn't about weight reduction.
It wasn't about weight reduction, but what he wanted it was so that he could put nicer stuff in it, and it had a stiffer suspension in the back so it could hold the weight. So we put in windows, put in it was a really nice van, and the thing was stupid fast. I remember riding in it as a kid, and my dad and him would sit in the front, and they would do burnouts and just like do launches in that van. We're all in the kids in the back.
And it's kind of lost on us these days. Half the fun of turbos historically has been the lag. People complain about lag, but part of the fun of a turbo is the lag. Like, you push it down, and you're like, okay, it's not immediate, but you can like feel the building. And then when it kicks in, like depending on what kind of turbo setup it is, what kind of engine, it can just throw you in the back of your seat.
Well,
like, and then somebody hits the gas.
Well, what he liked was because it was a cargo van, he said, I remember I was like 9 years old or 8 years old when I heard this, but because it was a cargo van, all the weight with the kids and everything put it back to a like stock height, basically, of where it needed to be. And then he built, like, he had wider tires and stuff on it. And so he was like, it actually handles and doesn't wallow. Like
right. And it was
the other vans that were a little softer and squishier for the comfort ride. This was able to actually be more aggressive. And I remember he would drive up to Idaho City, and he would always like tell us about how it took him 15 minutes to get to Idaho City. And he would fly. And I remember my dad chasing him in our 73 Suburban, 3/4 ton, 4x4. And my dad was shifting with a 3-speed, like trying to keep up with him, and couldn't do it. And he would fly up the hill. And so.
No, I believe it. And that was in a time period when most drag cars are still rear-wheel drive. I mean, you had things in the 60s like the front-wheel drive Tornados and stuff like that. But at the same time, front-wheel drive hadn't really been adopted until going into the later 80s when you started seeing more imports and stuff with the front-wheel drive setup, and people really adopting that as, hey, you can drag with these too.
Yeah.
And just the difference in the setups, basically reversing everything you would have done with a rear-wheel drive drag car, where you put the skinnies on the back and you got the fat tires up front and all that.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy to see that. I just remember that van was wild when we were kids. It was
and now you got me thinking about Sterrians and Conquests. Love those cars. Great cars.
Dane's going to go sell some cars to buy some new ones.
That's a bad idea, Dane. Don't do it. Any rate, I got enough to worry about.
So G. Davis, Hans closing details and home improvements. Han says something like that, Mr. G. G. Davis, I became a man in the back of a 1980s Chrysler minivan.
Oh, congratulations. You turned 18. That's so good. Great. That's definitely what you mean.
Hans closing, no, Dane, not out of the boxes, but I could do that when I'm done, though. G, I did the same thing. I didn't become a man. I just remember I made out the first time with a girl in a Chrysler minivan. I think it was a Plymouth minivan out in front of my mom's house. It was a good time.
Oh, yeah. Voyager.
Yep. Cody Boss, are we going to see some detailing vids of Dane's Jag?
Yep. I'm working on one of them, so of course it's
soon.
Taking a while. But we also have another video that's separate and just specific about a single product that Jimmy's working on that nice. I think will be done relatively soon. That
Very
involves
nice.
my car as well.
Oh,
so I think you're in that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. No, we got some fun stuff. But, obviously I'll find excuses to get them to work on it more, but I think they're catching on. I don't think they want to do that for me, so I'll have to come up with a way to do that, and hopefully it doesn't involve me doing it.
He tricks us into that.
Nobody wants to watch me detail, so.
Radar, and how would you guys categorize 2019 Kia Soul paint? Hard or soft or neither? Old Kias, I never had an issue with them. They always cleaned up really well, so I would say right in the middle, pretty hard, pretty easy to do, not crazy hard, but not soft. I never had to worry about it compared to like Subarus or Hondas.
Yeah.
It was a good paint. It's like Hyundai paint.
I mean, the goal is obviously you want something that's easy to correct but hard to scratch. Whatever that magic.
Yeah, not too hard, but just enough that you could correct it. It was actually pretty good. I haven't tried any of the 2019 stuff. I don't know if they've changed their paint systems, but I mean, this is 3-4 years ago when I was doing a majority of that stuff.
I would assume they're still using similar processes.
They might. G. Davis, Dane, is there an established Jag culture in Boise? Curious to hear the reactions you get tooling around town. There is a British car club.
There is a British car club, and there is an independent mechanic shop that works on British cars. They have a giant row of Range Rovers and Land Rovers out in front of their building.
They do. It's funny. But every once in a while you see an Aston Martin or a Jag sitting out front.
After work, I went over there and
introduced
I
yourself,
them,
brought them
and I basically
plate of
put
cookies,
myself in their
microfiber.
system, and I said, hello, I just bought this and drove it up from Texas. I have a question for you. I hear these 5 liters in Range Rovers, Jaguars. This engine got used in a lot of different places. If it makes a particular kind of sound, I want a trained ear just listening to it tell me, should I be worried about this? Is it a ticking time bomb, or did I make a good purchase? Because I hear about these timing chains being an issue with the tensioners, where the tensioners will stop,
tensioning,
creating tension, and then you get slack, and then the engine goes.
Yeah.
So obviously, I was like, I got this guy who works on a lot of these. He came out and he's just like, oh, good man, you got the coupe. Nobody gets the coupe. And he was like really excited. He goes, I've only, had the opportunity to work on a handful of these, the newer XKRs and XKs. And he's just like, oh, it's such a good looking car. Like, he spent more time just admiring it than actually doing anything. And then I popped the hood. And he's
you
just
guys were jagging off together.
Call it what you like.
He was jagging off. He was like, yeah, that's a really nice car.
He was checking it out. But then I was just like, okay, so I just want to know, is this my imagination, or is it just sometimes I think I hear lifter tick, but is it a tension or whatever? So I was like, okay, just have a listen. And he kind of listened to it for a minute. He goes, oh, no, this is totally normal. He goes, let me go in the back. I'll pull out what bad tensioner stuff looks like. And I was like, oh, and he goes, because I work on a lot of Land Rovers that run into this issue. And he goes, but honestly, a lot of them wind up sounding bad, but they never go full failure. They get close, but they don't. So he kind of explained the whole process to me. And he goes, I've never had a Jaguar actually fail on that 5 liter, so you're probably okay. But just kind of walked me through it, made me feel a lot better about it. So it's all like, okay,
That's
good to know. But he goes, it's just a noisy engine. Don't worry about it too much. If you hear something that sounds like a chainsaw, then be worried. But he goes, unless it's noticeably different, it's just something to be concerned about. But really, he said, no, this is good for the mileage and stuff. So I put myself in their system anyway.
Yeah.
And I was like, just have me on tap. I hope I never have to call you guys. But if I do, I want to already be in there. It's like, all right,
be ready to go.
Got me in there. But yeah, no, I get stopped at intersections a lot. Like, people look down and like, what is that?
Moon
and they're
you?
like, no, they'll ask about the car. They think it's an Aston half the time.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh, thank you. And then they see me driving, and they're like, you don't really look like the hoity-toity guy who would be driving this, and or old guy, which they expect. But no, and people don't know you can find insane deals out there.
No, they don't. They don't. And it's a lot of the times people are more scared of they're
scared of the dependability. They go, Jaguar, they have a questionable.
You can pick up BMW
reliability reputation. Honestly, BMWs scare me way more than this Jaguar did. Like, BMWs, Audis, Mercedes, anything from that, early mid-2000s, like all those electronics and stuff. And when it goes bad, it gets so expensive.
Well, and I have buddies that are fairly capable mechanics, and they would buy older Beamers.
Yeah.
And they were like, it's not hard to fix them. It's just expensive. They're like, the only reason is because
the labor yourself, then
they're like, it's just the parts are double or triple what they should be. And that's it. They're like, that's really the only...
Porsche included.
Yeah, but they're like, that's really the only thing. Like, they're actually not that hard to fix, and nothing really fails that a normal car doesn't have fail. They're like, instead of a $20 piece, it's an $80 piece.
Yeah.
Or instead of a $50 piece, it's $150. And so they're like, that's where it gets you.
Yeah, and you get the wrong one, and it's not necessarily a lemon, but you just get one that wasn't maintained after the first owner. After it got out of
you get a teenager that got a hold of it.
You start getting nickel and dimed on every little problem that comes up, and it gets frustrating. I get why people get shy away from that stuff.
Yeah, but you look at like Tyler Cinerusa's M3. That is it's a high mileage one.
Yeah,
but it's a very well kept.
Well, and he's a perfect example because E46s do have kind of a reputation of being a little troublesome. Oh, the rear subframe does this. Oh, Vanos. Oh, this. Oh, that. The other thing. But he's managed to handle a lot of that stuff and not have it cause problems because he took care of stuff ahead of time rather than waiting.
Well,
for
and he's the
kind
of guy that takes care of that stuff and has the
and
capability to do it. And there are other people that have an E46 that just don't have the money to fix that stuff. And you can just kind of see it in the car itself, and that's I think as detailers we kind of notice that a little more. You can tell when someone just hasn't really washed that car very often, or they wash it because they're trying to sell it, and you're like, wow, you can tell you just washed this for the first time in a long time, and that can also be indicative of the condition of the vehicle.
Right.
I've got a friend who autocrosses, Jeremy. Mm-hmm. He's got one, and he takes care of his.
Yeah.
And make sure it's on, but he also does a lot of the work himself. And so he's smart about it. And it's been a good car. So
can't argue with that. Oh,
Sid's in there saying, hey, what's up? Saw you all doing this. Hey, Sid, hope you're having a good day. Wowo's in the house. What's up, home skillets?
What up?
Redarin, that sounds about right. I can't see any scratches or webbing, and I know it all went through the dealer's wash twice. So, yeah, that might be. Rectangle, they probably think, why is this trucker driving this Jaguar? Yeah, that's probably.
I do have kind of a trucker
That's not a proper Jaguar.
Oh, wow.
G. Davis, people are surprised that you have to wear a tuxedo to drive it. Well, Dane does dress up. Dane does dress up to wear it. He wore a dress shirt on his trip.
I just had to
class
it up a little bit.
Let me just make myself. That was probably the day that you met the lady, the IROC lady. You were dressed up. You've had a Jag. Happens. She was like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing! I just hit the jackpot." Shruka,
okay.
first time live. Woo!
Hey,
yeah, buddy, you made it.
Thanks for joining, man.
Rectangle, does anyone have any experience with BMW? Thinking about picking up the new Supra. Serious question, lol.
Oh, serious question.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it and a lot of people
that joke has been beat to death at this point.
But you look at like Phil at Detailer's Domain.
Yeah.
Him and Kevin, they are BMW freaks.
Yeah.
And those two buy and drive BMWs and then trade them in and get new ones, and like they love them.
Oh, absolutely.
They love them.
Yeah.
So, most of the time when you buy a new one, sometimes they offer like the first 2 years of service or 3 years of service for free. So realistically, you could lease one and not have to worry about anything.
I think a lot of people who this has been talked about to death, but I'll just kind of address the main points. People are scared of the new Supra because they think it's a BMW under the skin, and a lot of it is. But Toyota did a lot of their own stuff with it that then tweaked it, using the BMW parts and development over time. They really changed a lot, though.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure Toyota basically fixed a bunch of stuff.
And even then, I heard a lot of technical stuff on the inside saying basically they did their normal like tolerance testing, reliability testing, all this stuff, and it actually did pretty well compared to maybe past BMW products.
Yeah.
Because this is a newer system, a newer chassis, all that stuff. They were really trying to make it more sporty and stuff. So I've heard a lot of people say that the new Supra is actually a really good car. The problem is the C8 Corvette is also coming out and is in a similar price range. And not a lot of people aren't cross-shopping the two because they satisfy different parts of the market, but they're close in price, in a certain range. So, and they're obviously like the most hyped things to come out in the last year. So there's a lot of people excited about both, and there's a lot of haters of both, but it's just kind of finding that balance. What I have heard, though, is that the Supra is underrated. Like, in terms of the power output, they're making more than what they say on paper. So
nice.
That's a lot of people have been getting and dynoing them and going, it feels faster than the claimed horsepower. So I've also heard that particular power plant is really good for tuning already. So
that's
BMW,
cool.
In recent years, their inline sixes have been really friendly to tuners. Just look at Adam LZ's 335i. I mean, that's a great example of what you can do with those engines. And it sounds pretty 2JZ, so that's cool. But obviously, newer power plants, newer regulations, all that stuff, you're working around what you can. But there's always going to be new regulations that kind of prevent some of the fun stuff from being what it used to be, or some of that driver feedback you get in steering with electric steering and all that stuff. But they're getting better. They are. They're really getting better.
Yep. Cody Boss, Levi, when you ran your shop, how did you market differently for the winter months? Cody, truth be told, man, I tried to get a lot of pre-winter details, winter protection stuff done. And then I pretty much fell off through the winter here in Boise. My retails really went from 2 or 3 a day to, 2 or 3 a week. But what I had to back us up was a lot of dealer work.
Tons of production detailing.
I had tons of production detailing that guys could work on. We'd get to a point where every Friday we would show up at 10 a.m. Because we'd go to breakfast on Fridays. I'd take my whole team out to breakfast in the winter and just kind of give them the day to do what they wanted. If they wanted to work on 1 or 2 cars, I made it a little lighter, so to speak, because we were just we were grinding. Doing dealer work because some stuff was clean, some stuff was really dirty. if we had a snow day and we had a ton of snow land in the Boise Valley, I didn't want, they're
going to get dirty real quick.
The cars were going to, it was dangerous for us to drive them back up to the dealerships, especially, let's say it snowed on a, Thursday night on the way home, and then all night, and then you wake up Friday morning to 8 or 9 inches or 7 inches on the ground. The city comes to a standstill, and it takes an hour and a half to get anywhere.
And you did have a sizable yard.
I had a very big yard, fenced in yard. And so
but a lot of it wasn't paved either, so that presented
so I had a bunch of snow. I had a lot of snow in my thing. So we would clear an area. We would try and get as much of the area cleared and free that we could park. And then we'd get a couple cars, get the snow off of them, and we'd walk. Like, I'd just basically tell my guys, like, do what you want. If one of my wash boy guys got in, I'd have them just get the snow off the vehicles. On all of them, just get the snow off, because it made it a lot easier. We had snow brooms. We just get as much snow off the cars. I'd tell them they could prep cars, they could work on them, but realistically, it wasn't a day. And I didn't want to. I'd call the dealerships and just say, look, we're not bringing anything back. It's too dangerous to drive anything back to the dealership. Sure. So winter was kind of a nice time because we just worked on dealer cars, and I didn't have to do a lot of customer stuff. I did have coatings that would come in. Because people buy new cars, especially what people don't realize is...
It's not like people stop buying cars in the winter.
No, the best thing is I would do coatings on new cars in the winter, because a lot of people would buy right after, from Black Friday to after the 1st of January.
And they're seeing that weather and they're thinking, I want to protect this car.
Not only that, but realistically, it was the best time to buy a car because the dealerships are trying to get rid of stuff, and it's quiet too. So they're not...
It's late in the year, or it's beginning of the next year, and they're doing clearance, and
they're trying to get rid of stuff because they've got a lot of new stuff. And sometimes the new models have already come out in September, October, November, but all the new models are there, but they still have some stragglers. And so they make some crazy deals on those just to get them out. And so that helped because the dealerships were continually loading me up with cars for the winter. So my guys would just work on dealer stuff all winter and that worked really well because I didn't have the retail count to get me back up. But I guarantee you the first real nice second, third weekend that we'd have, people start calling because they want to get their cars cleaned up. I also had customers that would still come in for a wash. You sell wash packages. They'd still come in and go, hey, can I do a car wash? Like, come on in. That helped. Gift certificates for Christmas was a big thing because that kind of helped too. I'd sell retails. I'd usually create a Christmas special kind of thing, like they'd get like a $300 or $400 detail for $250 or whatever. That always helped because it allowed me to get sales for that month. I usually put a cap on them that they had 12 months to use it, and I'd usually try and have them call to schedule so that I could get it in the thing. And I wouldn't schedule too many in a month because the last thing you want is sell 25 gift certificates and then put them all in 1 month. Yeah. That hurts your bottom line. And so I try and space them out throughout the year. I also liked what I try and do is sell mostly a discount. You know what I mean? Like I'd do something that was simple and easy, no compounding, no polishing, mostly interiors with just exterior sealants and things like that, to make it easy on myself as a business owner. Yeah. Because the last thing you want to do is sell a 3-step correction with an interior for like $200
in the middle of winter. Somebody's gonna be tracking all that crap.
Well, and then they bring it back and they're like, "All right, I'm ready to have it done." And you're like, "I'm not getting paid, and I got to spend 10 hours on this." Like I always tried to sell very simple details that I could do in my sleep, basically.
Stuff that is going to make the customer happy and hopefully make them a repeat customer.
And what I would do is if they go, hey, do you buff with that? No, I don't, but I do charge an extra $150 or $200 to do what you're asking, and I could add a coating for this price on top of that. And they'd be like, oh, well, then I only have to spend $200 or $300 to get to that with my gift certificate. Yeah. And it allowed me to get an add-on. So now I'm getting technically a double sale on that product because I'm not allowing, compounding, polishing, things like that to the exterior.
So for a lot of, aspiring detailers and detail shops out there, it's not necessarily a bad idea to try and court some production work. I mean, just so you have that flow, because that is going to be more reliable and more regular than anything you're going to get from a individual customer basis.
It is very regular. It is also
in the winter
behooves you to get with a dealership for service.
Yeah. So
details, because
make yourself known in the area,
because there are people, and it's just like having more voices for you. If you can get, the service writers at a dealership to schedule a detail for you and then call you and go, hey, do you got time on your schedule for Thursday the 12th? I always told the service writers, always book out not the same week. Always book out at least a week or two in advance, and I will leave a space open throughout the week, and I can push something. And usually what I did was I just pushed one of the dealership's cars out of the way and said, well, so-and-so dealership, instead of getting 3 cars today, they're going to get 2 because we're doing one for the service department.
Sure. Yeah.
And that was the easy way to handle that. I did not like when they'd call me and go, can we get this in tomorrow? And I go, no,
let me just drop everything.
And I would tell them that. I'd go, let me talk to this person who's their recon manager, because I've already promised these vehicles to him.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh. And I had to remind them, they get a little excited. And so that's how I kind of handled that too. So anyway, for winter months, gift certificates or gift cards, a package that is easy for you guys to do, so that you can have the ability and potential to upsell something to that customer, and then get in with those production detailing with the dealerships, just to be able to have some extra work. And you don't have to do a lot. I mean, a dealership will gladly hand you 15 to 20 cars a month. No problem. They won't even blink twice about it. And if you can get, $200-300, or 150 to 200 from a dealership for that, it's easy money right there.
And no, it's not the most glamorous, but it pays the bills, especially if you can be efficient. Work on your efficiencies.
Yep.
Get faster while still doing the same level or better quality of work than you would have done
better
previously.
Than what they are doing.
Yeah.
But the key is speed. Get it done quick and be able to flip it. That helps absolute ton in the winter, especially just even on the months when you're like, you just have a slow week. There's always work that can be done, and you can always use those cars to potentially train guys, new employees, things like that. So, and
it's all marketing material for you too. So,
and it makes you feel good when you look out and like that car's on point. So, all right. So,
got a few
where
more.
Where are we
here.
at? G. Davis, are the new Master of Shine hats autograph friendly?
Yes, say
on the
so.
fronts.
Yeah.
The blue ones just blue all the way around.
Silver and bronze markers.
Yeah, we could do some stuff. Rectangle says it has a great potential. Adam LZ is running 700 horse already. People just like to join the hate train, correct?
Definitely.
Redderin, how did you choose or find the location for your shop, Levi? Basically, man, the guy that I partnered with, he had the shop. So he had found the shop because he needed a storage lot for his dealership. That's how I partnered with him. So we had been friends. We'd been friends for a very long time. And he called me and said, remember that time we talked about opening a detail shop together? And I said, yeah. And he goes, are you still interested? And I said, yeah. And he goes, are you interested tomorrow? And I said, whoa, let's talk. And he basically said, meet me at this place tomorrow. And showed up, and he goes, I'm renting this place because I need property. I need space to park some cars down here. I'll park some cars down here, and in the meantime, I'll loan you the money. You build the shop. You do all this. There was already a shop on the property.
Yeah,
I didn't build a shop. I built a detail
been like
shop.
A mechanic shop or something prior.
It had been a towing yard.
Oh, okay.
And a
that
tow
makes a
shop.
lot of sense.
So it had 2 garages and then a office, waiting area, bathroom, and a spare office.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And so he was like, you can do my cars, you can do your own cars, you can do customer cars, whatever you want to do, but this is the rent on it every month. Do you think you could make something happen? And I was like, yeah, I think we could. And so that was how I did it. It was in Garden City, right centrally located to a lot of the town. pretty centrally located.
It's on a busy street.
It's on a busy street. It was just off of a busy street, but it was very centrally located, right off the freeway. I could go anywhere in less than 20 minutes.
Pretty centralized.
So it was perfect for that. So I was close to downtown. I was close to the west. I was close to the airport. I was close to, the main drag that had all the dealerships on it.
I was going to say, and most importantly, you were less than 10 minutes from the main drag that had all the dealerships on it.
And so it was really a great spot. The best part that I liked the most was I was 2 blocks from the river. So I was walking distance, so I could literally walk down to the river on my lunch breaks and stuff. And that was nice. I also had really big trees because it was still kind of neighborhoody. Yeah. So I had these massive trees that were it was nice.
You can see the shop in some of our first videos.
Yeah. Some of the first details with Levi's videos were at my shop. Yeah. But I came from a very high stress shop prior to that. Yeah. That was out by the airport, out in the southwest, where there was nothing, just freeway.
You were the only thing, really.
Yeah, and it was just like we had planes flying overhead and stuff. And so I just remember being in my shop for the first time going like, opening the doors and listening to the trees and the leaves rustle and going like, this is nice. Turn on my radio.
Didn't feel isolated.
Yeah,
like the other did.
And I'm weird. I listen to NPR when I detail.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's what I put on. And so it was relaxing. We'll just say that, like being in my shop, knowing that I could walk down to the river and just hang out by the river for a bit, have lunch down there, whatever I wanted to do, made it really nice. So that was where I picked the shop. Realistically, if I was to do it again, I'd probably pick a shop there again, or I would create a shop over in the East End where I live, because I probably wouldn't do as much dealership stuff. So yeah. Sharuka, Dane sold his cars already? No.
Question. Nope, still got them. I haven't had many people come to look, but I have tons of messages online from people. People just got to actually, stand up and get in their cars and drive over to take a look at them, but that hasn't happened as much yet. A lot of people are like, I have to sell my car before I can get your car, so you got to wait. So it's a lot of that.
Yeah.
Or people just want to trade for worse things. And I'm not about that.
Cody Boss, thanks for the info. I'm just running a small mobile business myself. Yeah, man, not a problem. G. Davis, what is SEMA week like for you guys? Greg, it's crazy, man.
Yeah. Lose our voices every year.
Yeah. Timeline right now. We leave Friday morning, November 1st. We will drive to Las Vegas. It's 12 hours. From Boise to Las Vegas, with our stops and all that. And the fact that it's like a 9-hour drive, but for some reason it takes us 12 hours to get down there, just with stops and lunch. And there's so many of us. Yeah. We've taken 2 vehicles. We'll leave about 5 a.m. from Jeff's house. And then we'll probably get into Vegas about 4 or 5 p.m., sometimes 3:30. And then what happens is we get stuck in traffic. And it takes about half an hour to get through the traffic and get to the house and all that. The next morning, we'll do our setup. So Saturday, Sunday, and Monday are setup days for SEMA. So we have to get our booth set up. We have to get the car placed. We have to put up all our product, get everything looking sharp. And then Tuesday morning is SEMA. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are SEMA days. And so we're in the booth, sun up to sundown, basically. They're all early mornings. We're up at like 6:30. We're out the door by 6:30 or 7, so we can be to the booth by 8. The doors open at 9, and then we're there till 5 or 6, and then back out traffic, back to the house, and then whatever we decide. Usually we stop and grab dinner on the way home, and back to we're staying at an Airbnb that's going to house 11 of us for that week.
We're not a company where we all just like, oh, okay, go back to my hotel room and everybody goes to their own separate ways.
We live together.
Family.
Yeah. So, but because we eat dinner together and we get up and we all leave in the morning, like we're all accountable for each other. Some nights just depends on the night and how we're feeling. We've all gone out as a group and just wandered. We leave the parents at home, so to speak.
Don't follow Jody.
Yeah,
You'll end up just walking around.
We'll just go wander around, or we'll
anything.
do something. Like Detailers of Las Vegas last year had a party. We went, checked out the party, came home. We're always home by a reasonable hour because it's a lot. We're there for 9 days, and then Friday night at the end of SEMA, about 5 o'clock, we can start tearing down our booth. We start tearing it down, and then we've got to pack it. So we have to wait for our crate to show up. We have to pack the crate, and then once the crate's packed, then we can head home. Last year, that was about 12:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And so it was a long night, but it was a fun night. Really fun night.
The night we made friends with all the Color Lock people. We're here for several hours, so let's be friends.
Let's make the best of it. We had a blast, and that was a lot of fun. And then Saturday morning, everybody gets up, then they drive back to Boise. This year, Anthony and I are staying in Vegas on Saturday to do a class with the Detail Mafia. So we're actually going to be flying home at the end of that. And so we'll probably beat Dane and everybody back to the house because it's about, I think, 9:30, 10 is when Jeff likes to get on the road Saturday morning. And then head home. It's a 12-hour drive back up. So, David. So, Hans, is your old shop still operational right now? My shop, my Facebook page I have control of it. And so I am working on changing the name. I'm going to use it just as a Master of Shine. It'll probably be used to advertise my garage detailing and anything else that I do, possibly the YouTube channel. It's a local Facebook page with 1,000 likes, so I don't want to get rid of it because in Facebook, 1,000 likes is pretty good
when it's
for a local business.
Sure.
Yeah, so
it's very different from being like us, where we're a national brand,
right?
Thing.
So I might just keep it just so people who want to use me see it and can feel comfortable. But my boys, all the guys who used to work for me, they all run Lupo Auto Spa. So you can check them out on Instagram at Lupo Motors. And check out what they're doing every day. Their social media does really great with that. So
check them out and tell them we sent you because they are cool.
Yeah, so they're working on some neat stuff. They love it. They're getting to it was the best, from going from our shop to that to change and create they're working on exotics and fancy stuff.
If you look up Lupo Motors, you'll understand why.
Yeah, it's the best case for detailers. So. And they're all making money. They've all bought new houses and cars and stuff. They're doing really well. All my guys are doing really well, so it makes me happy. Kim says hello to you from G. Davis. Her baking business now advertises as seen on YouTube.
Nice.
Glad we can make that happen. Tell Kim hello, G.
Hello.
Michael Fonseca. Hey, guys. Levi will be taking the online IDA CD exams tonight. Congrats, man.
Nice.
Good luck with that. Enjoy it. And then G. Davis, will you guys be live streaming the Vegas Airbnb? Now, there's some interesting content. We could possibly set up a live stream and just let it run of one of our evenings when we just sit and watch baseball. That could
it's going to be a lot of
absolutely
cussing. So much cussing. No, last year when we were doing our podcast from our SEMA house, Matt Mormon just walked in and he's just like, oh, what's going on, guys? And next thing you know, he's sitting down and he's eating peanut M&Ms.
My peanut butter M&Ms.
While just asking us questions on our own podcast. Yeah. So that was kind of funny. So, you should look
we'll probably do some live streaming
past
stuff.
episode where that happened.
Yeah. Alejandro, hey, we'll be there from 6 to 10 for a little SEMA and the Detail Mafia event. So excited.
Nice.
Awesome, dude. We'll see you there. To see you. That'll be fun. And then, guys, so I think we're done.
Yeah. We've gone for over an hour now, so that's pretty normal podcast timing. Good. But this is fun. And, the interaction, I get it. Our podcast channel only has, a little under 1,000 subscribers versus our main channel, which has over 40,000 now. Yeah. So there's a difference. But I tried to promote it. I want to build up this podcast channel so people know that they're really, getting something fun here. But it's different than the main channel. So it's that longer form. And you guys... you talk with us, we'll answer your questions and stuff. So it's fun. But I really appreciate all of you being here. We both do. And especially when the rest of the room is so empty.
Yeah, it's quiet.
We need some more folks to join us. So at any rate, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel because it helps us reach more people. Because people look at the number and go, oh, that's an important number, and I want to be a part of that.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, and we will catch you later.
See ya.